Project's basically looking at wildlife use of culverts and bridges to move under roadways in Vermont. It's important for a whole bunch of conservation reasons, chiefly because road corridors fragment habitat for wildlife and a whole bunch of other things. It's a collaborative project, wouldn't have happened without working with folks at VTrans, a whole bunch of folks at VTrans, Fish and Wildlife. Jens Hilke is here today, as well as the UVM Transportation Research Institute. Sorry, on the next one. And we use game cameras, and we set them up at a whole bunch of culverts and bridges throughout the state, and we characterize the use of the frequency of wildlife moving through different kinds of culverts and bridges. And we're basically interested in looking at what type of structure and site characteristics increase the usability of bridges and culverts for wildlife. If we know that, we can generate recommendations on managing these transportation assets for wildlife passage. Summary of our results: bridges with fine substrate underneath are great. Deer can move through these easily. Ubiquitous 6-foot pipe culverts have a moderate use of things like bobcat and weasels. So there are a couple of characteristics which make sites relatively poor. Old flat bottom box culverts always wet, usually because of the wetness. Wildlife don't like to use them, most wildlife. High gradient box culverts, coarse substrate, those were poor. Cleared sites for new bridge construction. Once vegetation grows in there, that'll be better, but right now it's not so great. So a couple of conclusions. Only about 4.3% of the structures on our state highway system have characteristics which are suitable for wildlife use currently. Structures built to modern AOP flood specifications are probably better than the older, smaller bridges and culverts for wildlife use in general, with some exceptions. Construction site revegetation is important, which I mentioned before. And with this information, we can start talking about some really specific targeted enhancements in strategic locations to increase road corridor permeability for wildlife.